Okay guys, so how are you? Welcome to another video of Chandigarh data recovery. This is your host Amarbir, and today we have a case of a 2 terabyte Western Digital desktop hard drive in which the person says his name is Gurdeep Singh, and he tells that there was a lightning strike or the electricity went up and down 2-3 times and the hard drive is not responding. So let's start inspection of this case and see what we can do with our skills and experience for this customer. Okay, so I had already inspected the printed circuit board motherboard of this particular hard drive using my multimeter here. I checked the positive 12 volt and positive 5 volt supply, and I could not find anything weird in them as of now. So let's open up this printed circuit board and analyze it with our tool over here. Here's our board, so let's try it out. Okay, now let's shift the focus onto our screens. Drive is the Diablo 3S family. Let's initialize it. Okay, so my first attempt will be to read the ROM and dump the ROM from the printed circuit board into my computer's hard drive. So I'll execute that command. So I have created a folder, and in that folder I'm going to dump the ROM. Once the ROM is dumped, I'm going to read all the available ROM modules. 47 number module is not being read. It's a very typical thing in these Diablo 3Ss that the tool doesn't allow to record them until unless the product is not on the HDD head and disk assembly. So that's it. Two things are done. Now let's block access to the surface area on the platters, and this job is done, finished. So we'll remove it. Typical preparations for the PCB are now done. Let's move to the next process. Okay, so let's mount the printed circuit board back onto the computer's hard drive. I should be saying let's mount the motherboard on the HDD assembly head and disk assembly. That's the right thing. Okay, now we have prepared the preparations for the PCB. Now let's mount this back into our tool. And see the response, what's going on. Let's start. The hard drive was in busy mode earlier. We were not getting ready status. Now the hard drive is in ready status. Let's move out and start our tool. So once this is done, I need to do some preparations. I want to install some partial information from the surface of the platters into the hard drive's RAM, so that we can access that surface area, the platter surface area, without fully initializing the platter surface area. Okay, now let's prepare the drive so that we can access the surface area from the platters and read all the modules, tracks, etc. So let's start. Now we will restart this tool and we will have full access to the firmware of this drive. Now let's read all the modules. So we'll read copies from 0 number head and 1 number head. Here we are. Preparations are going on over here. Patience is the key to data recovery. If a person does not have patience, the client or the engineer, you can never get successful in this business, I can assure you. Like in this month, I have so many customers who are wanting their data, and they are all physical cases. I have one hard drive over here which is running on the top, and I think it's running for 9 days now. Then I have another case which is running for 1 month now. Only 2 channels are free over here and the typical other channels which are there. So, but clients will never understand this, especially in the physical cases. All physical cases are not butter smooth. So here our modules are done. Now let's read certain special modules and manipulate them so that the drive doesn't remain in busy mode and we are able to recover that data. Let's do that. One preparation is done. Let's see the other preparation. The rest we don't need to do anything, and we will now go back into our tool and give access to the platter surface to the ROM, so that now the drive can boot properly. You can see here also that there is no detection of the drive as of today, right now. So let's switch this off and let's switch this on. Go back from our tool and get back into our tool. Hopefully we should have the drive fully recognized, which is right there. We have the 2 terabyte with the serial number right there. And now another preparation that I'm going to do before this is that I'm going to read all the modules and the tracks into the profiles also and into the database also, and then I will typically start this process. I will analyze it and see. So I have a 4 terabyte hard drive which I'm going to dump at the back, and once that is dumped at the back, I'm going to temporarily read all the heads and see what is the status of the heads, and then we'll quote the customer. If the customer approves, we will start doing his case on any of these machines now. Okay, so the drive is ready over here. I have copied the firmware completely into the profiles. Now I'm going to start dumping them into the database of my system, and here we have the dialog window here, and here we start it. Okay, so friends, everything is fixed now. Let's create a data extractor task. First job after creating the task would be creating of the head map, so that we know which sectors are belonging to which particular head, and then we can test all the heads for their workability. This is what we are going to do now. Let's see how many heads we have. By the way, we can also see the head information if we go back to the utility. We can see there are 4 heads, so it should be 0, 1, and then 4 and 5. This is the typical arrangement in these hard drives. I'm sure we'll have 4 heads here also. So typically 4 heads. Now what we are going to do, we are going to execute a command here, and at variable positions it's going to check all the heads. I'll do this 3 times to verify the head status. Now this is the first one, head number 0, head number 1, head number 2, and head number 3. All of them okay. Let's do it for the second time. Done, all okay. Let's do it for the third time. Done and all okay. So that's it. I'm going to close this task, and we are going to quote the customer. If the customer approves, we are going to do this task. Otherwise, we are going to return it back to the customer, because we don't have any time these days to negotiate with people. Alright, so this was Gurpreet's case that you saw in the live mode, different stages, and so I'm going to quote him, and if he approves, we will shoot the second part of this video. And if you don't receive the second part of this video ever on my YouTube channel, then you can imagine that he never approved this case, and I returned it back to the customer. So this is your host Amarbir. For any data recovery jobs in India, please contact me on 9815 000 133 and 9478 600 256. See you guys.